What's up, you guys? Gosh, it's been a few weeks. I feel like it's been 3 or 4 weeks since I've jumped on here. But you're listening to Your Message to Millions podcast. I'm Anna. I'm the host. My co-host, Erica Ormsby, she's also my business partner. She's going to be jumping on in the next couple podcasts to share, which is super exciting. This podcast is for entrepreneurs. This is for people that are go-getters of the world. It's for the people that are doers. You know the people I'm talking about, the people that are persistent, that never give up, and that want to make their mark in the world. So we're going to talk on this podcast business. We're going to talk personal development. We're going to talk branding. We have a publishing company called Lighthouse Global Inc. So we're actually going to be talking about writing books and spreading your message to millions and launching throughout the world or into the world, which is super exciting. So today I want to talk about something that has come up pretty often in the last couple weeks, mostly because I think it's about to be the new year. We're into December now, and we're in the hustle and bustle of holiday time. And then after holiday time, we kind of launch into this like new year, new you thing, or setting new goals or doing things that we haven't necessarily done before. And we get really excited. And the thing I want to talk about today is what it feels like to start something new. So right now, for my personal experience, I just finished something called 75 Hard from Andy Frisella, and I listened to his podcast, and I started it 75 days ago with my husband. I ended the day before Thanksgiving. That was my last day. And when I first started this thing, it's these 5 things that you do in order to live and max out your life. And when I started doing these 5 things, one being exercise, eating healthy, drinking a gallon of water, listening to personal development or reading books, that is not new to me. And then taking a progress picture every day. When I started doing these 5 things every single day in the very beginning, gosh, it felt absolutely horrible. Like I wanted to give up like at least 20 times. I shared on our social media today, or on my social media, Anna Ennis, or at Anna Ennis on Facebook, some pictures of my last day when I completed. And each time that I wanted to give up, I just kept thinking in my head, and this is what kind of got me through it, was that the one thing that I know to be true is that you have to be brave enough to be bad at something new. And I don't know how many times in your guys' life that you want to start something new and then you put your foot in and then you think, oh my gosh, I'm not good at this. I'm not enough for this. I'm not an expert. It isn't perfect yet. I'm just going to quit. And most of the time we do quit, right? So I think the thing that I took away from this challenge or this experience of the 75 Hard was that I pushed through. I pushed through probably a good 4 to 6 weeks of agony and pain of doing these 5 simple things in a really busy life with children and being a wife and having 2 companies and being involved in our community. So I pushed through. And the one thing that kept reiterating in my mind was that you're gonna totally suck at this. Starting something new is always a good thing, and it's great because it shakes things up. When I'm bored, when I'm anxious, when I'm unfulfilled, or when I'm frustrated, it's when I'm not content. So I want to ask you right now, if you were to stay right where you are right now, what would it feel like? If you were to be right here next year at this time on, what's the date today? December 2nd. We're in the 2nd day of December of 2019. Next year, 2020, December 2nd of 2020, if you stayed right where you're at right now, are you going to be happy and are you going to be truly content? And then the other thing I asked you to think about is, have you truly weighed the risk? So here's weighed the risk of staying right where you're at right now, not committing to yourself, not following through with the goals that you wanted to follow through, giving up on something new because you're not perfect at it yet. Like, have you weighed that out? What things in your life are going to suffer? So as I worked through this process of the 75 Hard, and as I've worked through different new things that I've incorporated in my life, there's 5 things that I do when I start something new. And I thought it would be super cool to share them with you guys because it's always helpful to share information, and I'm all about giving back what I learn from others and what I learn myself through personal experience. So the first one is number 1. Okay, so the 5 things that when you start something new. Number 1 is to weigh my option of staying where I'm at right here, right now. So questions that you can ask yourself when it pertains to this, and this is kind of what we were just talking about, is questions you can ask yourself are, number 1, am I better than this? Number 2, am I staying here to be comfortable? Number 3, am I refusing change because I'm afraid of the pain? Number 4, was I at this same spot last year at this same time? And number 5, what am I truly losing if I stay right here, right at this spot? And this could be pertaining to anything, you guys. This could be pertaining to your business. This could be pertaining to the way you're parenting. It could be pertaining to your weight, to your wellness. Anything that is like nagging at you that you know that you should change, but you haven't taken the first step yet because you're waiting for tomorrow. So the second thing to starting something new is to find people to support you. And I know this isn't anything new, but here's some of the things that I do when I'm starting something new is I join a group of like-minded people. So for me, I've joined different organizations in our community that are like-minded to me. Or for this working out thing, I've joined a gym that have people that are like me. Or the eating healthy thing, I've joined and been around people who support me in eating healthier foods and don't make fun of, me not eating McDonald's. So surrounding yourself with the people. The second thing that has really helped me in finding the support around myself is I've dove into my faith even more and diving into your spirituality. So it doesn't have to be a religious spirituality, or it can be. It really doesn't. Right now, it doesn't matter to me. Like, to me, it's you have to dig into something bigger than yourself. The third thing is establishing some type of a mentor. So if that's through your faith, that's amazing. If there's additional mentors or people that are like one step ahead of you, I always choose to follow people and to listen to people that are like 10 steps ahead of me. Because although I go directly to my Creator at all time, to God, I do find that there are people out there that are just a few steps ahead, and I can look at them and I can think, man, they're doing exactly what I need to be doing. And I use them for inspiration. And then another thing that's really useful is joining social media groups or finding people on social media with the same interests as you. I've had great experience with social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I've had Pinterest. I've had some great experiences with meeting new people throughout the world and connecting with them with our common interests. And then the last thing is to expand your mind. So when you expand your mind, this looks like listening to podcasts. This looks like listening to sermons or TED Talks or YouTubes, reading books, picking up audios. You could pick up audios at the library. It's finding that connection, and it's feeding your mind with the positivity that you need in order to sustain your change. So we went through the first 2 so far. So the first one was to weigh your options of staying where you're at right now, and I kind of gave you some questions to think about. The number 2 was finding the right people and the support around yourself in order to keep this change there. The third thing is, this is a huge one, is to expect that you're not going to be perfect right out of the gate. And I know for me, I want things to be perfect right out of the gate. And the one thing that I have had to get rid of is that I'm royally going to suck at this. And it's okay, because eventually, if I keep showing up, I am going to get better at it. So the first thing is to give yourself some grace. After you give yourself grace, then the positive self-talk. So for me, the thoughts and the things that I say to myself have totally changed. And then some people find journaling really helpful to get your thoughts out there. And then other people find meditation and prayer. And even doing all of these things works. Pick the thing that works for you to start in the beginning when you incorporate something new. Pick one of those things in order to incorporate. All right, number 4. So when it sucks, persist when it sucks. So we've talked about this a little bit throughout the last few minutes, is when things royally suck, when you are like epically failing at this new thing, you have to persist. Like, it's not even an option. You have to give yourself time and you have to persist. There's going to be ups and downs of new things. Sometimes in the beginning, there's way more downs than there is up because you're changing. And when you change, it feels uncomfortable. And when we're uncomfortable, we want to quit. So I say push through the uncomfortable. And then the other part of this is you have to flex your resilience muscle. So in order to make this new thing stick that you want to create or that you want to change, you have to be willing to be resilient. You have to get your face back up when you've made the hugest mistake or when you failed, and you have to keep going, because that's the only way that you're going to push through and that you're going to make it with this new thing that you want to do. And then the last thing that I want to talk about, number 5 of starting something new, is keep adding layers. So just know in the beginning that I'm going to use myself for an example for this. So in the beginning of transitioning into a healthier lifestyle, I'll go with the eating part, right? There were days in the beginning where I just wanted to eat chocolate, dude, like all day long. I wanted to eat chocolate. I wanted to eat salty stuff, and I didn't, but I allowed myself to have like a little bit in the beginning. And then I just slowly started incorporating, instead of having a chocolate bar, maybe I'll have a banana, or instead of having, the chips, maybe I'll have popcorn. So it's layering It's layering. It's like adding new little things on each day and each time. And when you start that new thing, it's knowing that right out of the gate that you may not be the perfect at it, but you can start to get better at it by layering more and more things on until you're right at that point of success. So, all right. So recap here real quick. So there's 5 things when you're starting something new. Number 1, weigh your options of staying right where you're at right now. Number 2, find people, find support, find connection with this new thing that you want to do. Number 3, expect that you're not going to be perfect right out of the gate. Number 4, persist when it totally sucks. And number 5, keep adding layers on and bettering and growing. So I hope this helped you guys today. I know for me, this has been my journey the past, 4 months or so. And I just want to encourage you that if you're that person who wants to start something new, dude, we're here for you. We're here for you. So follow us on our social media. We have a business page called Lighthouse Global Inc. We're a publishing company. We publish books, but we also, our passion is personal development. And part of publishing a book is actually working through some of the stuff that we talked about today. It's working through this stuff. So we've learned with working with our clients that we do 2 things. We help our clients get to the point where they can get their thoughts out of their head and get it into like a book form. And we also publish them and push their message to millions. So there's actually 2 aspects of our publishing company. And this podcast and our social media are the platforms in which we use to share information with people in order to start getting those thoughts out of their head and onto their paper. And then you can follow myself. I'm at Anna Ennis on Instagram, also on Facebook. My business partner, Erica Ormsby, is also on both Instagram and Facebook. So you guys jump on, follow us, shoot us some information about yourself, or just share. We love meeting new people and we can't wait to share more. So enjoy the rest of your day and we'll talk soon.